Hello students, this is Chandrashekar, Assistant Social Science Teacher, Bgs Public School, Shidlaghatta. Today we start a fresh lesson, that is India Water Resources, Grade 10, Social Science, Geography, Unit 6. So, water resources. The water resources are sources of water that are useful or potential useful to humans. If there is no water, means there is no human life. So many use of water is there. So that is including agriculture purpose, we are all using for the water. Industries purpose, we are all using for the water. Household sector purpose, we are all using for the water. And environmental activities purpose, we are all using for the water. So in this lesson, we have to learn following aspects like importance of water, then the greatness or grandness of water, major rivers of India, most important rivers of India, then meaning of irrigation and its need, supply of water to dry land, then types of irrigation and their distribution, forms or kinds of irrigation, multi-purpose river valley projects, different and variety types of uses purpose we are all using for the water. So dear students, here water is very important because it is a precious means most valuable. Water is, without water the life is highly impossible to lead for the human being. So it was a reason purpose, we all need water to drinking purpose, we are all needing for the water, cooking purpose, then washing purpose, agricultural purpose and generating of hydroelectricity purpose, industries purpose, navigation purpose and fishing purpose. So these are all the main reasons purpose we need for the water. This we should consider for the importance of water. Then water resources can be divided into surface water and groundwater resources. The one is surface water, then another one is groundwater surface. And main here say we can see for the surface water resources are rainfall, rivers, lakes, tanks and springs we should consider for the surface water. Then what about for the groundwater surface or rainfall means here also recharge from canals etc., then irrigating fields, these all we should consider for the groundwater. We should gather one by one information. The major rivers of India, it means the very important rivers of our Indian country. The India has many river system. They are the natural resources of the country. It means resources supplied by nature. Here the rivers existing credit goes to nature only. The rivers are useful for irrigation, already explained, irrigation purpose, then generation of tidal power, inland waterways inside of the India by using the ponds, by using the lakes, by using the rivers, the goods and services exporting from one place to another place. For such a purpose also we are all using for the water. Then fishing purpose also we are all using for the water. The river system of India can be divided into two groups. How many groups means? Two groups. Let's see that. The first one is the rivers of North India, then another one is the rivers of Peninsular India. It means Peninsular India means the almost surrounded by water. That is also we should consider for the South Indian rivers. The one is North India, another one is South Indian rivers. The first, the rivers of North India. They are also known as Himalayan rivers. Which rivers? The rivers of North also known as Himalayan rivers. Why we should consider for this means most of the rivers originating in Himalayan peaks are perennial because they are fed by the melting snow throughout the year. So this is the reason purpose the rivers of North India also known as the Himalayan rivers. Then the major important rivers of North India, the one is Indus River. It is also known as Sindhu River. Then another one is Ganges River. It is also known as Ganga River. Another one is Brahmaputra rivers. These three rivers playing very important role in North India. One is the Indus River, another one is Ganges rivers, another one is Brahmaputra River. So this is Indus, this is Ganges, this is Brahmaputra. See, that is Indus River, Ganges River, Brahmaputra River. These are the three major important water of rivers of North India. Then the first one, the river Indus rises Sindhu. The river Indus or Sindhu rises near Kailash. It means Tibet. See, main here, this is the Indus River. Where it is rises means Tibetan plateau, where available for the main Tibet or Kailash, like so this is Mount Kailash. Initially, it flows northwest, then it flows towards the southwest and entered the Pakistan. See, main here, from here to here, it entered the Pakistan and finally joining to the Arabian Sea. So this is most of the part of the Pakistan finally joined to the Arabian Sea. The total length of the river Indus is 2,897 kilometers. The total length of the Indus River is 2,897 kilometers, which of these only flowing in India 709 kilometers. Then in Pakistan 2,188 kilometers, most of the river of, what about for that Sindhu River flowing in Pakistan. So this is major part river flowing in Pakistan. It receives many tributaries. It means flowing together. We should consider for the sub rivers like, see, the first one is Jhelum, Chenab, Beas, Ravi and Sutlej. Look at here. This is Jhelum, Chenab, Beas, Ravi, Sutlej. These are the tributaries of river Sindhu. Then another one important river, the Ganga River. So it is the largest river of India. Total length is 2,525 kilometers. So here to here, this we should consider for the Ganga River. The total length is 2,525 kilometers. This is also river Ganga and this is also river Ganga. It rises in the Gangotri Glacier. It means a slow moving mass of ice, Himadri. So this is the Gangotri Glacier. See, here rising for the river Ganga. So this is Gangotri Glacier. And here it flows towards south and southwest. This is the south and the southwest. and where it joined means across the Brahmaputra River and then come upon the Bangladesh, and after it's joined for the Bay of Bengal. Finally, it flows into the Bay of Bengal. Then its major tributaries are, which major tributaries? The Ganga River major tributaries. Look at here, main Yamuna, Gagra, Gandak, Ramaganga, Gomati, Sharada, son of the Yamuna. So these all main we should consider, but Yamuna is the longest tributary of Ganga River. So these are the major tributaries. Then another one very important river, the Brahmaputra River. It rises near Lake Manasa Sarovara in Tibet. So this is main Brahmaputra River. It rises Tibet near Manasa Sarovara. So this is for the Manasa Sarovara. So like this is for the Manasa Sarovara. These also we should consider for that. See once again. It flows towards east. It means eastern part of our Indian country. It flows and it enters India narrow gorge. Narrow gorge means between the rocks. It means left side also hill stations are there and right side also hill stations are there, and that is we should consider for the narrow gorge, and it enters to the Arunachal Pradesh. It enters to the Arunachal Pradesh. Then finally it's come through the south of Bangladesh, and where it's joined to the Ganga. Finally this river is joined to the river Ganga, and its total length is 2580 kilometers. Dear students, it flows towards east and entered India through the narrow gorge in Arunachal Pradesh. Got it? Then flows to the west and turns to the south in Bangladesh, where it joined the Ganga River. Finally, this river joined to the Ganga River, and its total length is 2580 kilometers. These are all the rivers of North India. Then after the North Indian rivers, we should gather in detail information about the rivers of South India. See mainly here, rivers of South India purpose. Many rivers flow across South India. They are also known as peninsular rivers. They are also known as peninsular rivers. Then most of the rivers rises in Western Ghats. Most of the rivers rises in Western Ghats. Let's see at what type of rivers mainly rises in Western Ghats. The South Indian rivers wise, the important rivers are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Narmada, Topi and their tributaries. These can be grouped into east flowing and west flowing rivers. Look at the rivers mainly here. There is a Narmada River, Mahanadi River, Topi River, Godavari River, Krishna River, and even for the Kaveri River also. Then these are all very important South Indian rivers divided into two parts. The one is east flowing rivers, then another one is west flowing rivers. So the first east flowing rivers. Which are the main east flowing rivers of South India means Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri are the east flowing rivers of South India. See main here, this is the Mahanadi east flowing, Godavari east flowing, Krishna River east flowing, river Kaveri east flowing rivers. Then information about river Mahanadi. Mahanadi rises Sihava range. It means hill station of Sihava. It has two rides and it flows towards the east. Its length is 851 kilometers, and finally it's joined for the Bay of Bengal. So this is mainly river Mahanadi. River Mahanadi. It flows and finally joins for the Bay of Bengal. The Mahanadi rises in Sihava Ranges. I already explained. So this is the Sihava Ranges hill station. So look at here, and finally this is the river and joined to the Bay of Bengal. Then another one very important river, Godavari. It is the largest river in South India. It is rises in Triambaka. Where it is rises means it rises in Triambaka. It flows towards the east. It joins the Bay of Bengal. Almost all east flowing rivers all are join in Bay of Bengal only. The Godavari rivers, it consists of 1465 kilometers length. Look at here. This is the river Godavari. The picture of Godavari. Godavari rises in Triambaka. So this is for the Triambaka. In this place rises for river Godavari. Then another one very important river of South India, the river Krishna. It rises near Mahabaleshwar. River Krishna. It rises near Mahabaleshwar and it flows toward the southeast. So this is the south and this is the east. 1400 kilometers length and it's finally joined to the Bay of Bengal. So this is and finally joined to the Bay of Bengal. And river Krishna rises Mahabaleshwar. This is the place of Mahabaleshwara. See Mahabaleshwara. Then Krishna river tributaries also is there. One is Bhima, another one is Tungabhadra, then another one is Koina, Ghataprabha and Malaprabha. See the tributaries of river Krishna. See the Bhima, Tungabhadra, Ghataprabha, Malaprabha, etc. are the tributaries of river Krishna. Then another one very important river, river Kaveri. River Kaveri rises Talakaveri at Kodagu. Where it rises means Talakaveri at Kodagu. It flows towards the eastern joins for the Bay of Bengal. So here, see here Talakaveri to flows towards the eastern join for the Bay of Bengal. Then river Kaveri rises at Talakaveri at Kodagu means this is the place of Kodagu. So this is also very important place of the Kodagu. And some of the important tributaries of river Kaveri, Hemavati, Simsha, Kabini, Arkavati, Lakshmanatirtha, Suvarnavati and Bhavani are the main tributaries of river Kaveri. Look at some of the important tributaries of river Kaveri. Hemavati, Kabini, Arkavati, Lakshmanatirtha, Suvarnavati, Bhavani. These are all the very important tributaries of river Kaveri. After the east flowing rivers, let's we gather in detail information about the west flowing rivers of South India. The Narmada and Topi. These are the very important rivers flowing west. The Narmada and Topi are the important west flowing rivers of South India. River Narmada rises Amarakantaka hill station. Amarakantaka hill station and it flows toward west. So this is the Narmada. It flows toward west. Its length is 1312 kilometers and through a narrow gorge. It means between the rock or hill stations, and the hill stations consist of marble rock and finally it joined to the Arabian Sea. River Narmada rises Amarakantaka hill station and it flows westwards Marble Gorge and Narrow Gorge and joins to the Arabian Sea. Its length is 1312 12 kilometer. So there is the river Narmada. River Narmada rises Amarkantak hill station. Already explained. See here, this is the hill stations. Already told now. Narrow gorge and marble gorge. Narrow gorge means these are the rocks between the rocks. Here river is flowing, and marble means the rocks consist of marble rocks. So that is the marble gorge. Here river Narmada rises in Amarkantaka hills. Then after, very important river, river Topi. It rises near Multoi and flows westward on joint to the Arabian Sea. Its length is 724 kilometers. This is the Topi river, finally joined to the Arabian Sea. It rises near Multoi. Where available for the Multoi means the Topi rises near Multoi. This is the place of Multoi. Then many other west flowing rivers are short and swift. Many other west flowing rivers are short and swift. Important of them, some of the important rivers: Sabarmati, Bedti, Sharavati, Kali, Netravati, and the Perinean. These are all the important west flowing rivers after the river Narmada and after the river Topi. So look at here some of the important rivers of South India, especially for the west flowing. Next, Mandovi, Zuari, These also some of the important rivers we can see near Goa. The next, Bedti, Sharavati, Kali, Netravati. These also we can see in, especially for the west flowing rivers of our South Indian country. See, Bedti, then Suvarnavati, Kali, some of the important rivers west flowing, especially for the on finally joining for Arabian Sea. Then after that, very important rivers we already gathered in detail information. That is North Indian rivers, and another one is South Indian rivers. Then North Indian rivers after South Indian rivers. The South Indian rivers mainly divided into two parts: west flowing rivers and east flowing rivers. Main after this we have to learn irrigation. We have to learn about for the irrigation. Let's see here the irrigation meaning the artificial supply of water for the purpose of agriculture is called as irrigation. Artificial, made by human skill, that water supplying to agriculture. So that is we should consider for the irrigation. It refers supply of water to agriculture land from rivers. Where to be receiving for the water means from rivers, reservoirs, tanks, or from underground sources. Underground sources means wells and springs, tanks means ponds, then lakes also is there, rivers also is there. These are all the main sources of irrigation. Then the need of irrigation. So why there is a need of irrigation means India is a agriculture country. We should consider India is a backbone of our Indian economy. Therefore, it's need a regular and sufficient supply of water. Regular and sufficient supply of water, because throughout the seasons of our Indian country we won't receive it for the rain. So in summer season, winter season, period of retreating monsoon season, we have to do for the agriculture means we need a water. So such a water we can receiving through the irrigation purpose. Because of the reason our Indian rainy system mainly depending upon for the monsoon. Only seasonal time only we can receiving for the rain. Majority of the time the receiving rain is unevenly. It means not equally distributed. So it was the reason purpose we need for the irrigation. And there are certain crops which require a larger and regular. We growing some of the important crops means that crops need large and regular water supply. Which are such a important crops means, so we rice, sugar cane. So these two crops purpose larger and regular water supply is needed. Besides an increase of yield and production, crops are required regular water supply. Production introducing more and more means the crops are need certain water. That certain water also we can receiving through the irrigation. So this can be provided only by irrigation, which is very essential in India. So this is all the reason purpose there is a need of irrigation. There is a need of irrigation. Then types of irrigation. The important types of irrigation in India are wells, canals and tanks. Important, there are three types of irrigation in India: wells, canals and tanks. Recently, other types of irrigation such as sprinkler and drip irrigation have been introduced. After the wells, after the canals, after the tanks, we are introducing for the sprinkler and drip irrigation method has introduced in our Indian country. So the first one is well irrigation. It is the most important type of irrigation in India. Which irrigation means? Well irrigation is most important type of irrigation in India. Then percentage wise we have to count it means it is supplying water through the irrigation. 60.7% of total irrigated area is from well irrigation. How many percent? 60.7%. Well irrigation is possible even in areas of low rainfall. Where available for the low rainfall, it means where not receiving for the more rain, such a places we should consider for the low rainfall areas. So in such a places very useful for well irrigation. It is cheap and easy. How like cheap and easy means? Dig wells and they do not require superior technology. We no need for the advanced scientific technology. It is easy even for small farmers to dig wells. It is very useful even for the small farmers, not for the large farmers. It is easy even for small farmers to dig wells. Then after, dear students, so the well irrigation is largely practiced in the Ganga plains including Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. And which river, some of the important rivers are flowing, where flowing for Ganga River and where flowing for some of the important other rivers. So such a places most available for the well irrigation: Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. See main here, that is very very important. In South India, well irrigation is widely practiced in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Odisha. North India goes means Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. South India comes means Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Odisha. So these are all the very very important places where practicing for the well irrigation. So that is Punjab and Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal. This we should consider for the North India. Then South India wise comes Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha. So in these places have the great practicing of well irrigation. Wells are two types. How many types of wells are there, dear students? Means there are two types of wells. The one is open wells, another one is tube wells. Open wells and tube wells. Tube well irrigation has become widespread in India. Not for the open well, but tube well irrigation has become widespread. Majority of the people of our Indian country are practicing for tube well irrigation, but not for the open well irrigation. See the pictures here. This is the open well and this is the tube well. So this irrigation system practicing more in our Indian country, but not for open well. After that, canal irrigation. After that, canal irrigation. Look at mainly here the canal irrigation. It has occupied the second place after the wells. So already learned first place receiving for well irrigation. After the well, which type of irrigation receiving for the second place means canal irrigation, and accounts for about 27% of the total irrigated area. Canal irrigation occupied 27% and it receiving second place in irrigation after the well irrigation. After the well irrigation. India has one of the world's largest canal system. India is one of the, but not for the major. India is one of the world's largest canal system. So canal system purpose mainly here, government is responsible for the construction and maintenance of the canals, but not for the tube wells and open wells. That should be maintained and controlled by human being only. But when construction for the canal irrigation, the overall responsibility here belongs to the construction and maintenance only for the government. See, there are two types of canals, as it is like already explained now. Here well irrigation also two types. The one is open well, another one is tube well like. And here also there are two types of canals. The one is Inundation Canal and another one is Perinean Canal. Inundation means the rising of body of water and its overflowing onto normally. So that is we should consider for the floods. Somewhere construction of dams, through the dams they providing for the water, so that is caused to some of the important floods like. And another one perennial canals like means it's not for the repeated, it means it's not recurring again and again. Inundation canals water is drawn directly from the river without building dam. So here inundation means river flowing means that river drawn directly from the river without building the dam. River flowing, that river water directly used into the agriculture. So that is a inundation canal. Another one is Perinean Canal. So that is the inundation canal. River flowing means draw a canal system and useful for the agriculture. Another one is it is a perennial canal, very useful for the dams. It has been constructed dams across the river and stored for the water in the reservoirs and then used for the agriculture through the canals. Got it? Inundation means river flowing means that river water directly used into the agriculture through the canal. So that is Inundation Canal. And second one is the Perinean Canal. Here possible to construction for the dam across the river and we have to store for the water through the reservoirs, and after that water we can use for the agriculture through the canals. So that is Perinean Canal. So like here construction for the dam and we have to made for the canals and providing for the water. Then canal irrigation extensive means where in Indian country largely practicing for the canal irrigation. Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, West Bengal and Karnataka states largely benefited for the canal irrigation. See here mainly we can see for that Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, West Bengal, Karnataka. So these are all the very important states very extensively using for canal irrigation. So another one is very very important here students, that is a tank irrigation. That is a tank irrigation. So a tank is a natural or man-made hollow land where there is a surface of the land, so such a place is human beings or construction for the tank and possible rainwater harvesting collected methods. When there is a receiving for the most of the rain, that water have to storing and that water is using for irrigation purpose through the tank. So that is we should consider for the tank irrigation. So like this type of tank irrigation we can see for each and every one village of our Indian country. So most of the tanks are non-perennial. Non-perennial, it means not repeated. In recent years, area under tank irrigation has been decreased, not for increasing, it decreased. Now only 3% of the total irrigated area is under tank. So dear students, it is mainly found Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. See some of the important places: Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. So in these places we can found for this type of irrigation. So dear students, see after learning this, mainly we have to match for the following. We have a knowledge or not after listening for the lesson, we have to check it ourselves. So the first one is the Ganga River. Ganga River, Gangotri, Indus River, Mount Kailash, where the rivers are rises like Ganga River, Gangotri, Indus River. We can see for Mount Kailash, River Kaveri, Tala Kaveri, then Krishna River, Mahabaleshwara, Godavari River, Triambaka. These all the 1 mark are very important MCQ questions, my dear students. Everybody you should be keep in your mind. After that, list out the North Indian rivers and South Indian rivers. See main here, North Indian rivers, Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, very important rivers. Then South Indian rivers, Krishna, Kaveri, Narmada, Godavari and Topi. These are the very important South Indian rivers. And meaning of irrigation: the artificial supply of water for the purpose of agriculture is called irrigation. This is the part 1 of India water resources, my dear students. Next session we have to gather in detail information about Indian water resources too. Thank you. Have a nice day. Read well and practice well.